Yo, what is up, boys? It is your boy Xehther, back at it again to tell another story time. The last story time that I told on the channel did relatively well for videos that are not what ifs, and a lot of you guys actually seem to have a lot of fun in terms of reacting to my story time. A lot of the more like true fans who were here for me and not just my what ifs, y'all seem to enjoy it. Not to say that anybody who didn't click on it, just support, but just in general, that video did pretty well in terms of, not being a story, what if. So that being said, I'm here to tell another story time. This time it's going to be regarding my biggest fight that I've ever had in high school. Or no, not high school, but middle school. I'm dumb. I didn't mean high school, but middle school. Yes, middle school. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so where the story all starts off is basically me and this kid called, let's just call him Tristan. Yeah, Tristan. That's not his real name, by the way. But yeah, it was about 8th grade. Or no, not 8th. Yeah, 8th grade. It was around 8th grade. And let's just say me and Tristan were basically just, we were cool with each other, honestly. There was really nothing going on. Every now and then, me and him would like roast each other every now and then. And we would just be messing around. We were kind of pals. More acquaintances, but we were kind of pals. And to basically premise the story, I had a bunch of friends in that class. I had a bunch of people who actually knew me there, and I had one particular friend who basically I usually most of the time hung out with. Let's call him Deku. Yeah, we're just gonna actually I can't do that. That's just not it. Let's call him let's stick to the last story time. Jason. Yeah, let's call him Jason. It's not Jason, but let's just call him that. It's a different school, by the way, so not the same one as the last time. But yeah, let's call him Jason. So basically, me and him were basically just having a pretty chill day. This story all starts off with, me in the morning. I woke up, all the usual stuff. I went to school. I had like my usual periods. And this story all basically kicks off at around like 6th period, right? So it's basically me and my other friends who were just chilling in the class. We're all just vibing a little bit. We're all just like having some fun, just messing around, paying attention. Not really, but we made it look like I was paying attention anytime that we were, looked at. And basically what we would do in this classroom is we would essentially walk in there and we would proceed to basically hop on bonk.io, since that's the game that was pretty hype back in the day. And we'd basically just hop on bonk.io and just start playing with each other. We'd usually have like a lobby of like 6 people in the game, and it'd be so much fun. In terms of what the game was like, it's pretty much like you're a little ball and you pretty much just have to like jump around and like knock people off of this big arena. It's kind of like a King of the Hill situation. But yeah, essentially we would always just do that. And on one particular day, we were basically all just doing that as we were essentially just having some fun. We were being teenagers, just having some fun, right? So this day, me and my friend, the other one, Tristan, we basically started looking at each other as I'm just like, yo, and he's like, what's up? I'm basically just like, yo, do you want to hop on? And he's like, yeah, for sure. So he basically hops on the game, and we basically are all playing. And it's at one point where I kill him a lot, and like I start being the one who like winning. He'd basically proceed to look at me and be like, dude, like you effing suck. And I would look at him and be like, what are you talking about, bro? He'd be like, bro, you literally spend all day playing this game every day. Like, you literally never do anything in this classroom, right? And he then laughs. As I would look at him, and then I'd basically just be like, yeah, whatever. And I'd just keep playing. As, of course, me and him would just keep playing, and I would destroy him as I'd be just talking a little bit of smack. And at one point, we'd basically just start roasting each other, just laughing. And we both just knew that we were messing around. Until he basically says something like that pretty much really offends me. He's like, yeah, that's why your last girl cheated on you, right? And after he says that, I just get red in the face, and I'm just like, oh, all right. So I'm just like, bro, that's too far. And he's basically like, I don't care. And like from there, I basically just like, I'm like, so you want to take this somewhere? And he looks at me, and like I look at him, and he's just like, yeah, maybe I do. As I basically look towards his direction, and I stand up as I push the desk out of the way, and he'd proceed to stand up as he says, so what you want to do about it? He's like, you want to throw the hit? I'm waiting here. You can throw that first. And I'd basically just be looking at him, and I'm like, I ain't trying to get in trouble. If anyone's going to throw the hit, it should be you. You're the one talking. As he basically just looks at me, and he'd just keep talking his smack. He'd just say, come on now, do something about it. Don't be such a wuss. As I would look at him and I'd be like, bro, don't play with me. You know I'll drop you right now, right? And he just looks at me and he's like, do it then. And my friend just comes between us. He's like, yo, dude, like, Xehther, like, I'm just saying that. Most of you guys know me as that, but he's like, yo, dude, like, back up, bro. Like it's not worth it. You know, you're not trying to get in trouble in this class. You're not doing great right now. You know, you might get suspended. And I'm just like, bro, who cares? Like, did you hear what this man just said? He's being disrespectful, right? So then the teacher comes in. She's like, guys, come on. Like, let's not do this right now. Like, there's only a couple more minutes to the end of class. You guys can go your separate ways and just forget about this. As I'd basically look at her, and I really liked her. You know, she was like one of my favorite teachers. She was always so nice to me. And I was just like, all right. So I basically sit down and I just sit there, and then basically he just sits down and he's like, yeah, you would have lost anyways. You're lucky that she got in the way to protect you. So after that, I basically get up and I'm like, you want to say that again, but to my face? And he just starts getting real silent, right? So the teacher then says, hey, did I not tell you to just sit down? And I was like, yeah, miss, I'm sorry. I just let the anger get the best of me. And she's like, I understand, but just don't do that again. And I basically sit down, and she would proceed to essentially just give out directions, and that class would end. And that whole time, I'm just looking at him like, yep, I'm about to mess this dude up. And basically, flash forward to the end of class, we basically go through with the rest of this, like the day. And at this point, like I basically had forgotten all about it, right? So basically comes a time I'm just chilling with my friend Jason, right? And like basically it's me and him. You know, he has like a bit of a bigger build than me, but he knows that, you know, like I'm not weak. But like me and him are just walking around. And at this point I was a little leaner than I am now. So like I could definitely, you know, swing a little better. And yeah, essentially I just like am walking around with him, and it gets to a point where pretty much I just look at him, and we're walking by the kid who was saying stuff earlier, like Tristan, right? So Tristan, at the end of the day, like right when everything ends, he basically walks up to us as he's like, so you gonna do something about it? As he's just surrounded with like 4 other guys, and me and my friend Tristan are just like, so are you gonna fight me one-on-one, or are you gonna have your little boy try to jump in and help you? As he looks at us and he's like, I don't know, what should I do? And I basically look at him and I'm just like, dude, like, you're the one who started it. Like, if you want to fight, I'll fight you, but I'm not about to fight you and get jumped. As like basically, luckily, one of my other friends is walking by, and I'm just like, hey, come here. And he basically walks over here, and he just knows what's happening. So he basically pulls his pants up, and this is where it's like just us 3 against them 5. And he'd proceed to say, so what? It's still 5 against 3. You don't stand a chance. So do you want to do this right now, or what? Or do you want me to post around everywhere that you're such a little, you know, you're a P word. You know, by that I mean a P-U-S-S-Y. And I can't say that word because I'll get demonetized. But yeah, as I basically look towards him and I'm just, what you just said to me? And he just looks at me. He says, you heard me. Don't play dumb. And at that point, I just lost my absolute like stuff. So I basically throw my backpack straight at his face. And from there, I proceed to basically go over to his other friend and kick him straight in the package. As that man would fall into the ground. And then it would be like 4 against 3. As you know, he basically got unstartled from that, and from there I would just grab him as we start throwing hits. Like, it's looking like a WWE style fight, and we're just sitting there like in the middle of like the campus area, as we're basically just throwing hands. Like, I'm over there just wailing on this man. I'm punching him straight in the face, and I won't lie to you guys, he got some good hits in. Like, that man low-key, like, he messed up my lip a little bit, but you know, in all honesty, I was winning though. So I basically just keep hitting that man. And my other true friends are basically like, one of the bigger one, he's basically taking on 2 people, and my other friend is taking on 1. So it's basically like 4 on 3 right now. And at this point, I basically grab that kid and I grab him by the arm and I swing him into the wall. So he like basically just smacks his head into there and like back. And then I grab him by the shirt and I just drag him onto the ground and I just start stomping on that man. As from there, like, I can see that my other friend, he's not doing so well. So me and my other friend just completely stop paying attention to these kids. And it's at this point where one of the other little friends that he has, one of the 2, just looks at me and he just like kicks me right on my knee. And so I fall on one knee, and from there he basically proceeds to try to kick me right in the face. But like, from there, like, the other friend that we were helping up, he finally got up and he just tackles him, right? And from there, we're basically all just looking at each other as we just keep fighting. And at this point, like, a bunch of people who were like friends with us and friends with them just start like breaking it up. And like I'm basically just laying there as I'm being held back by like a couple people, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm like bleeding from my lip right now. Like I'm just like, you know, I have like, a little bit of blood. But I'm just looking at him smiling as, you know, he's on the ground just like in pain. You can tell he lost. Like everybody looking at him is like, you okay? And I'm just like, next time don't say nothing, right? And he would just proceed to basically just stay there, as it's at that point where I basically whooped that man, and it was 3 against 5, and I'm feeling pretty accomplished. But at the end of the day, I should have just never done that. Like, it was not even worth it whatsoever to get that angry about like a little petty comment like that. Like looking back at why I got angry, I guess I was just angry at the fact that he basically just disrespected me, because like by saying that, he basically meant that like I'm not worth it. So like I got pretty pissed, and you know, he started saying stuff about like my mom and like how I'm like this and that, you know, stuff like that. He started talking a lot of crap. But yeah, long story short, don't do what I did. Like it's not a good idea to just start fighting. I was dumb and I ended up getting suspended. Got in trouble at home. It was not worth it. Like, yeah, I want to fight, but at the end of the day, the only thing that ended up happening from that was like I won. And after that, I proceeded to have beef with multiple people who I never even had to start some with. So yeah, long story short, the moral of the story is pretty much don't do what I did. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's the story time of my first school fight. And or no, not my first, but like one of the like bigger ones, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's pretty much how this story ends, guys. If you guys want another story related story time, or you just want something else like a near death experience, or maybe like a running into creepy clowns, because that actually happened to me a while back, like when the clown stuff was around, so I can definitely tell something like that. But yeah, the story was definitely a little bit of a crazy one. It was a pretty cool little story to tell. Looking back at it, it's just so dumb, but you know, it makes for an entertaining story time, so I don't regret it. But yeah, that being said though, guys, make sure to go down below and hit that like button. And in case this is your first time on the channel, make sure to go check out my other content, seeing as I mostly do anime related stuff with story times every now and then, probably like 1 or twice a week. But yeah, that being said though, guys, you guys know the drill. It has been your boy Xehther, and I am out. Peace.